Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Magduit and we're here again with another cool video. This time it's some more racks because it's Friday. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. What is going on this week? This week there's a bunch of small things that I'm going to give you. So I designed a couple of new racks that I think will help people who are struggling with the whole transition area of a song where you're going from that build up section to the drop and how to build that tension and then release it at the drop. So hopefully these tools will help you do a better job at that. Once again, everything is stock Ableton, so it's going to be really easy to install. You'll just be able to download the ALP, save that file somewhere on your computer, and then open up the project that you're seeing right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into what all of this is. So let me also just really fast get the mini meters on here. Just because I think it's nice to be able to see what's happening. Okay, so let's start off by just listening to what I have, and then we'll go over all the racks and how they work. So here we go. And that's all we got. So what is going on? I think that the big thing that we should look at first is the sweep rack, because that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to talk about. So whenever we're working on music, I think it's important to come up with the concept of how we're going to trick the listener into thinking something is happening, especially when it comes to a rise in tension. And the tried and true classic way of doing that is just with a white noise sweep. So what I did is I designed this rack to essentially just make it very easy and fun to do that. All you got to do is have an instrument track like so, and you can play any note on the keyboard and it will play white noise. And the idea here is you can draw in a long note, however long you want the transition to be, and you can go and then automate them. So there are 4 different knobs on the rack. The first one is the sweep knob. So this is what's going to have it go from a low frequency, and then it's going to sweep up like that. And then we also have a reverb switch. So by default, there's nothing on it, but you can also have it set. There's 3 different settings here. So if you have it in the middle, it's going to add a chorusing effect, which isn't quite fully reverb, but it definitely adds a lot of width and space to the noise compared to this. So you can see it's a lot wider with the chorus. And then we also have a actual reverb, and we're using the hybrid Atmos reverb, and it just sounds like this, which I'll be honest, I think sounds the best. So there's a couple of other switches here, or knobs rather. The next knob is a gain knob. Sometimes you'll want to shape the gain. Let's go to this sweep here. Sometimes you want to shape the gain of the sweep after the transition. So in this case scenario, you can see here I have it at full volume, and then once we hit this drop, I have it cutting a lot in volume, just so that way you kind of get the feeling of it, but it's less there. And that is why that knob is there. So it's helpful to be able to just be able to control that sweep volume, especially after the transition point. And then last but not least, we have a width knob, and the width knob does what you would expect it to. It just adjusts the width of the white noise. So sometimes we want it to be very centered and forward, and then usually in that case scenario, you'll want it to be louder. And then if it is wider with the width up more, that's usually a situation where you'd want it to be more subtle, you know, stereo kind of almost psychoacoustic thing where you're barely even noticing it. I also found that whenever I'm on the chorus effect switch, this width knob is very helpful, because sometimes you'll want to be able to narrow it a little bit, like so. Here, I'll play it here and just have it. Sometimes you'll want to be able to, you know, decide where it's sitting. And even with the regular reverb as well, it does help to be able to decide how wide it is. So yeah. I will say that the width does not do anything if the reverb switch is turned off, because there is no width to the noise anyway, and the way Ableton width works, it's not going to like add information there. So just wanted to disclose that one. So yeah, that's how that works. The next rack we have here is the Sweep FX, and essentially this is just a preset for my Hybrid Atmos reverb. But what it does is it takes whatever instrument you're putting through it, and then it will remove low end. It will kind of increase the reverberation that's going on with the instrument. There's one point in the song where I'm using this, and it's really great for quick transitions, I have found, to where you just have a little bit of a build and release of that tension. So let me go ahead and just show this automation here. And for some reason I can't see it, or maybe I can and I'm not over. Okay, I wasn't scrolled over enough. So if you look here, we have this little ramp here, and if I solo the bass, you'll be able to hear. See how it kind of adds that little bit of tension there? And yeah, I just love this preset. I've been using it a lot, so I figured I would just give that to you guys, just because yeah, it helps a lot for just the quick ability to do that. I think the more that you are feeling able to easily do it, the more likely you are to do it, and that's what makes it important. Because like if you're not doing it, you're missing out on some of that sauce when it comes to building that tension before you release it at this point. Also, you'll notice here there's a lot of movements where it'll kind of build up in tension, and then I'll quickly cut the thing back to zero. That's a reoccurring theme in a lot of transition effects, so I would definitely recommend trying to do that, not only with the stuff that I'm giving you here, but also with stuff that you might find in other places. I think some of the good examples of paid for plugins that I know of are things like Endless Smile or Transit. There's a couple of others, but yeah, that kind of plugin usually involves this style of movement, so just something to keep in mind. But obviously this is free, and I would say just as good as either of those. So yeah, explore. Let's go to the last and final rack here. So this one is a very subtle one, but I like this one a lot. It's called De-escalate, and it's really just doing a couple of very simple things, but I wanted to have it in a knob that makes it really easy to do, and you can always just quickly drag it in and just use this one knob to change everything very rapidly and quickly, and it's called De-escalate. And the idea is, if we go to our pre-master here, and I show this automation, it's essentially going to, you put this on your entire song, and the idea is you have it going before whatever your mastering chain is. So in this case scenario, I'm just using a limiter, but whatever that is that you use, whether it's Ozone, you know, Master Desk, Newfangled, whatever it is that you're using to master with, a clipper, this goes right before that. And the idea here is you're using this knob to basically lower the energy levels. So it's doing a couple of things like gain reducing and width reducing, and the idea here is that it will slowly give you this feeling of de-escalation, and I have found it to be really helpful in my projects. So yeah, I just wanted to share all of these with you. So that's how you really get that very big jump in energy from this build-up section to that drop. So when it's going, you know, I'm going to play it one more time, and you can hear how the energy is building and building. But because the energy is building doesn't necessarily mean we want it to get louder. We want it to get quieter and quieter, essentially, but very subtly. So as you can see here, I'll play it with the shape here, and you can see how it slowly goes up all the way, and then it drops back down to zero. So we're going to listen real quick. And even here, let's go to a place without the reverb up all the way. Even here, I am doing it slightly, just so that way you get that little bit of de-escalation. And I feel like that kind of stuff works so well in the overall concept of like an arrangement, especially from a mixing and mastering perspective, because you're essentially, you are lowering the volume a little bit. You're making it a little bit less loud, and in turn, creating this feeling of de-escalation, which is what you want right before you give it all back at that drop point. So yeah, that is that's this week. I mean, these are pretty quick ones, but I wanted to go through these and share them with you. They're super fun. They're super easy to use. And I think that they will improve your transitions and build up into those transitions a lot, just because without those psychoacoustic things helping our brain guide us into this feeling of building and releasing tension, it may not even be good enough to just have a cool build up drums or even like really nice heavy hard hitting drop drums. Like those are just one instrument example. Like those things may not be enough to give you that feeling of impact that you're looking for. So hopefully these instruments or tools help you achieve that goal. And with all that being said, that's this whole video. Please comment, rate, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you too. I'm in the next video. I'm actually going to be just sharing with you all this bass loop stuff here is a little bit of a sneak peek for what is to come very soon. So stay tuned on the Patreon. There's a whole bunch of new fun stuff that is coming out very shortly. So I love you guys and keep making music. All right. Peace.